Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Kenzie, if you don't know me. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing 5 self-care practices or habits to feel your best this summer. So this is episode 1 of my summer prep series. So if you want to see more of these videos, please subscribe and let's just hop right in. Alright, so habit number 1 is going to be getting morning sunlight. In the summer, the sun obviously rises a little earlier, so maybe you can do this before work, whereas in the winter, it can be a little bit trickier if you start work at 8 a.m. and the sun doesn't rise till 9:30. It's a little tricky to get sun in the morning, but basically how this works is as soon as possible after you wake up, you want to spend 5 to 10 minutes outside in the natural sunlight, not staring at the sun. Don't want to damage our eyes, but just being outside. I think the ultimate goal is to get this sunlight within 30 to 60 minutes after waking up. So it's recommended that on sunny mornings, 5 to 10 minutes is great. However, on days where it's overcast, gloomy, you want to aim for 15 to 20 minutes. Of course, if that's not feasible, just do what you can. The sun isn't risen when you wake up, just try to do it when it does rise. And if that's not possible, try to fit it in the first part of your day. Even if you're at work and you just step out for a quick 5-minute little break outside, a great way to first start getting morning sunlight is to pair it with something that you already really love and enjoy doing. So if you have a really yummy breakfast first thing in the morning, go outside while you eat that. If you do the Wordle every morning and you really like that, go outside and do that. You could play with your dog outside. So that's how I'd recommend getting into it, is try finding something that you already have ingrained in your routine in the morning that you enjoy doing and pair it with that. The reason this is so great for us is that sunlight in the morning regulates your circadian rhythm, and then it'll help improve your sleep and mood. So basically it regulates your body's internal clock, and it'll also increase vitamin D production. Morning sunlight also triggers the release of serotonin, which can help with mood, feelings of well-being, reduce stress, and improve alertness. So the second practice is non-sleep deep rest, also known as NSDR, which is a term coined by Dr. Andrew Huberman. Basically, it's entering a state of deep rest without actually sleeping. There's a bunch of different relaxation techniques that fall under this umbrella term. Be guided meditation, breath work. You can use calming scents, white noise, weighted blanket, anything like that to help ground you. Wear something comfortable. These guided meditations for NSDR can be found online, and I'll link a few in the description. Listen to this video or audio and then focus on breath, body sensations, or a mental visualization. You could practice box breathing. This essentially means inhaling for a count of 4, holding that for a count of 4, exhaling for 4, and then holding that again for 4. So this is really helpful in calming your nervous system and reducing stress. NSDR can increase feelings of relaxation by releasing dopamine in the brain whilst reducing your heart rate and blood pressure. So the benefits are stress reduction, as I already mentioned, improved sleep, enhanced mental clarity, enhanced cognitive function, increased energy levels, and maybe even reduced inflammation. Now, this next one isn't as unique, but that is strength training. The studies have shown that strength training or resistance training reduces anxiety, depression, and can boost self-esteem. I know I personally notice a huge difference in not only my physical health and well-being, but my mental and emotional health when I am consistently lifting weights. It doesn't even necessarily have to be lifting weights. It could be any form of resistance training. You don't need to be a bodybuilder to get the benefits. Strength training can also enhance cognitive function and brain health, and again help with better quality sleep. Sleep is honestly one of the most important things for your health. We often neglect it, myself included, and pretty much everything I'm talking about today will help you get better sleep. Now, of course, there's also physical benefits of strength training: increased muscle strength and endurance, improved bone density, which is super important for women because as we age, we have a much higher risk for osteoporosis. Strength training can help mitigate that, can help with your metabolism, increases your resting metabolic rate, and therefore can help with weight management, have a bit more lean muscle mass, can help with posture and balance, reduced risk of injury, and strength training can also help with pain management and improve mobility for those with chronic pain conditions. And then long-term, have a reduced risk of chronic diseases, improved functional fitness. So as you age, you'll still be able to do everyday tasks a little bit easier than if you otherwise weren't doing any strength training, and an increased lifespan. So I highly recommend getting into weightlifting, strength training, resistance training in any way. If you'd like more videos on this topic, this is something I really do enjoy. This next habit is dopamine fasting, where you're essentially resetting your brain's reward system. This is something I actually really want to film a video where I try to do this. If you're interested in seeing that, let me know. But basically what this does is it helps reset our sensitivity to dopamine, because we are all little dopamine gremlins in this current day and age, from social media, junk food, instant gratification, and essentially all this dopamine can make our normal life feel dull in a way. So dopamine fast helps reset that sensitivity. You could do this in any amount of time, any time of day. You could do this for a week, you could do it for an hour. It's totally up to you. You could try starting small and then increasing. I think that'd be a really great way. But to start out, you can pick 1 to 2 hours of the day where you're going to totally unplug from dopamine heavy activities. So no going on your phone, no junk food, no mindless entertainment, and you're going to try to do something boring but fulfilling. You could write, you could sit in silence, you could go for a long walk, you could do a hands-on craft, chores, cleaning. This essentially is going to help your real life experiences feel richer, and then hopefully limit the amount of time we spend doom scrolling. This next habit is trying to make as many future you decisions as possible, therefore reducing decision fatigue, because our brains get exhausted from making too many choices. So making small intentional choices in advance helps make our life smoother and reduce stress. How you're going to do this is each night do one small thing to make tomorrow easier. Lay out clothes, prep your breakfast, set up your workspace, have your day time blocked, have your to-do list written out, and this will help make your mornings way less chaotic and really helps you have the proper systems in place in order to achieve your goals. This is really setting yourself up for success, and then you're more likely to keep the promises that you make to yourself, which will just inherently increase your confidence, self-esteem, and then of course any area that you do have goals in. So if that's fitness, career, money, relationships, you're bound to improve. Alright, so those were my 5 self-care practices to feel your best for summer. Thank you so much for watching episode 1 of my summer prep series. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe. And again, if any of those video ideas I mentioned sound interesting to you, then please let me know. And in the comments, I'd like to know your favorite habit that you think has really had a positive impact on your life. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please subscribe and have a great day. Bye!